Hey everyone, Rob from Southgate Media Group here. Before we get started with this podcast, we have a quick message. If this is your first time checking out the show, we love that you found us and we really hope you enjoy it. What we have to say is for the subscribers, if you enjoy our shows, would you please donate to help keep these going? We don't want to have to put traditional ads on these shows, but this does cost money, so we really do rely heavily on donations. To make a donation to the show, please go to our website, www.southgatemediagroup.com. Go to the page for the show, and in the upper right-hand corner is a donate button. It takes you right to PayPal, and you can donate whatever amount you want. Thanks a lot for listening, everybody. And now, on with the show.
Rebel Rousers, welcome back to another edition of Rebellion Reborn. I am Lilith.
And I'm Ricky. Hello.
Up for discussion today is episode 106, Game Over of Heroes Reborn. Sad day for the Frady Cats, man.
Oh man, sad day. What? Oh man. He'll be back, blatantly. He'll be back, but...
Who wrote this joint?
Okay, so it's Nevin Desam.
The synopsis. Basically, Luke and Malina, Malina saves Luke's life, and, well, as chances have it, the person in the envelope was Tommy, and, well, he knows his last known whereabouts, and so off on a quest, another side quest they go. Tommy and Emily head to Paris, no green screen needed, and no flying. Yes! Meanwhile, right? Noah, Quentin, Ren, and Miko try to free the master of time and space, aka the Bay, Hiro Nakamura, and Dirty Deering takes Carlos, supposedly, to where Jose and Father Mauricio are being held.
Gideon Raff. How are we doing for those ratings?
Okay, so we got a 1.1 in the demo with about 3.8 million people watching. Now, let me put this into perspective on the US viewers side, because I don't know how y'all do ratings over there, but The Flash basically had a 1.4 in the demo, which the demo is like 18 to 34 in both men and women, generally speaking. And then they had about like they had like 3 million in like 3.4 million viewers or something like that. So I mean, The Flash is on the CW, which is a netlit, which doesn't even get shown all across the country. It's very select box markets. So Heroes Reborn is not doing so good, unfortunately, in the ratings.
But it is against football. Everyone thought it was going to get a bit of a spike because of Hiro, but we'll see. Maybe in the +3s it will do a lot better. Maybe it will double it.
I don't know. I didn't really see any review. I only saw one review that was like really positive. And it said basically it redeemed itself, and that was on Vulture. But like AV, Den of Geek, Hypable, even TV.com wasn't really responsive to it. So I think I see I don't know, maybe it's not correlation or causation, but I generally notice when there's a lot of bad reviews, like the 3 days don't really do too good.
Okay.
So, but let's hope, fingers crossed.
Well, at least this has got a beginning, a middle, and an end. So yeah.
Okay, Tim Crane. I'm really sad about that because I'm hoping that it takes an uptick in the last like couple episodes, because I really think that this would make a great anthology series. But like definitely in the summer. I definitely think that NBC needs scripted shows specifically in the summer, and I think that if we can maintain like a 1.5, that could be justified for a summer show.
I also think that if they do an anthology, a good idea would be to set it about the founders, because a lot of the old Heroes fans are like complaining that there's not enough of the old characters, whereas you can really do that with the founders and how they met and like some stories about them, and you've still technically got the old characters, but they're just in a brand new context. Yeah, exactly. And we still got a lot to learn about the founders if anyone was ever interested. I certainly was, so yeah.
Me too. Those comic books that they did with the years and stuff, it just wasn't enough.
And imagine if they brought back the girl who played Angela Petrelli to play Angela Petrelli again. Because it's what?
Oh my God, yes. Baby Angela Petrelli is like the bomb.com. Anyway, let's get back to the here and now. And so where do you want to start with this? Because they had like a convergence at Midian's little secret headquarters at 88 Valley or whatever it was.
Alexa Nicholas. Sorry. Get back Alexa Nicholas. I'm gonna get that as a trend. Anyway, yeah, I say we leave all that stuff till last because that's a major part of the story, and that not only brings in that brings in like four to five characters. So let's
Yes.
start off with everything else. So a quick,
Okay, Carlos
oh,
then.
Carlos. Oh man,
And Dirty Deering.
Dirty Deering. Yeah. So what? It starts off with a little bit of torture, and they make their way
Which is always good.
and they make their way to Sunstone Manor, which is where they have been holding heroes or people with powers. I'm assuming they talk about in the episode that there's like 600 specials who have been captured. And I'm guessing that it's like a half and half. Like half of them are in the quote unquote epic machine, and the other half are like at this Sunstone Manor. And I think this is where it's going to converge for um, Carlos, because I think it's safe to say that Micah's more than likely going to be there. But you know, they're just doing a road trip, which Heroes likes quite a lot. And yeah, I was watching it, and there was this really weird bit where Dirty Deering is explained. Like basically, what happens? Deering's money's been gone because that's what Carlos took his money or something like that. So he's you know better the devil you know having to work with him. And he says, you know, to get into Sunstone Manor, you have to be an Evo or something along those lines. He basically says you need to swab for powers to get in. So why is, you know, Carlos doing this? Why doesn't he just say that he's the cop and he found out that Deering is actually an Evo and go in that way, as opposed to, you know, doing what he did on that Peter level kind of dumb
Yep,
dumbness. Yeah.
basically. That was the only. I'm like, you're really just gonna drink something somebody gives you? Like he roofied him all the way. That was so like sexual to me. He's like, oh, I didn't tell you, and he's getting all dizzy, and he's got the smile on his face. Like you just hear the zipper in the distance.
And then Peter and the Haitian are looking from afar, going, "This is what happened to us, mate." Oh god.
Well, at least it wasn't a female character. Just saying.
But you made that interesting tweet about Deering being the new Nathan, I guess. And I guess, do you want to explain that?
Well, because Nathan was a self-loather. He hated what he was, and and he wanted to capitalize on that. His rise to power in Congress was based on the suffering of his own kind.
Mm.
And Dirty Deering is basically making money by selling his own people.
Yeah, they explained that a year ago that people were handing out bounties for 10k for every Evo or something like that, and that's obviously where he got started. I think we're going to find out more about Dirty Deering in the ebook about him and how he got started in that, and maybe read more into the fact that, you know, he may be a self-loather in that kind of Nathan mold. But they also...
Do you think they're going to cross paths, and that's going to set up the book for Father Maurizio? Because obviously a priest with a dark past, that has to be Father Maurizio.
Yeah, they're two different stories, aren't they? So yeah, they've got to, or yeah, maybe they'll cross paths and they'll realize that, you know, they've met before or something like that. I don't know. I have read like a little bit of an excerpt from the comic. They give a little excerpt about the Father Maurizio kind of character, which is quite interesting. If you've read the comic, you'll know what I'm talking about. I think it basically says that, you know, he was a criminal beforehand, and something along the lines like his powers kind of manifest when he's in a car crash, and he says that, you know, he's going to use his powers for good, and that's kind of where his journey begins. But I don't know what they're going to do with Dirty Deering. But yeah, they also, it's like also something that I think's quite interesting and is a bit of a theory craft is at the end of like near the end when Deering and Carlos are talking, he says, you know, no one ever wants to leave Sunstone Manor, and that kind of made me think, like, you've got all these Evos kind of working for Renautas, like Phoebe, in that kind of, you know, she says what she says, and I'm thinking that there's some kind of mind control going on, and
it's the Matrix.
Yeah.
They're literally plugged into the Matrix.
Must
here.
be, yeah.
So.
And so that's why none of them want to leave, and that's why some of them work. Like, I don't know what's going to happen with Harris towards the end. Like, I really like Harris, and I really don't want him to die, but they seem to be killing.
He's a black
I
henchman,
know,
though,
right?
dude. So he's gonna die.
But he got more than like 2 minutes of screen time, so there's that. We'll see. We'll see
True.
when it comes later on. But yeah, I guess we'll move on to. Shall we move on?
Tommy and Emily.
Yeah. Why not?
Okay, so they pull a Matt and Daphne and head to Paris.
Yeah.
And they have these really sweet, cute heart-to-hearts, and Emily is just like, she's such the nagging wife, right? Why'd you do that? We don't need to do this. You're crazy. Now let me explain your destiny to you. And I'm like, where's Casper in the distance, twirling his little lapel flower?
Yeah, it's nice for Tommy. I think it's nice for Tommy to kind of get away from it, and that's basically what he's doing. He's running away from his kind of destiny, and like I think we've said that, maybe we didn't say this about Emily, but maybe we said it about something else. But Emily is his Jiminy Cricket, his little conscience, and she's saying, you've got this destiny, you don't have to fight it, And then she brings out, she obviously, what I think is one of the most surprising things is, obviously we've been talking about how we're very suspicious of Emily, and in this episode, it seems like they're going to do a big reveal, and what they reveal is actually quite cool, that she's a comic book nerd, and it's nice to see that Heroes has kind of evolved in the 5 years from when Claire stepped into Sam's comics. So
Yeah. Very true. I like that it was the Ninth Wonders, and it seems like it has Erica and Tommy on the cover, and it says he's been looking for that particular issue. Yeah. We get the Isaac Mendez name drop, and I'm like, yay!
And it also says they visit the future, I believe. So,
yeah,
and that's got to be coming up. But yeah,
why did it have to be in French, Spanish, Japanese, Korean even, but French?
But yeah, this whole thing is about Tommy wanting to be normal. Emily's not rushing him, trying not to rush him, but she knows that he has to deal with this because it's not going to go away. And she gives him that kind of self-belief, and then it ends with them doing a really awkward first kiss, and then
dude,
up
until that point when they kissed, I thought they were doing the Luke and Leia brother-sister thing. So bummed out. Because, she's talking about how it's not that bad to be adopted. They do kind of look alike if you squint hard enough.
Mm. Who knows? Luke and Leia did kiss, so maybe it's still coming.
Maybe that's why it was awkward.
Yeah, definitely. Next up, we can talk about... There's the little Taylor bits which we can talk about, which is, she's obviously trying to find Francis, and then it kind of ends with her sending a message to Hero Truther, and I don't know how they do it. I think it's just people put out these videos on like YouTube, and then they just hashtag Hero Truther and just like get him into it, because obviously we see Erica watching the video afterwards, so I don't know whether Erica is kind of secretly behind Hero Truther or something. I don't know. It's really weird, but
No. She's not behind Hero Truther.
Yeah.
At all. I don't think so. I think people just kind of like, you're right. They just kind of upload their video and Hero Truth, because she shouts him out.
Yeah.
Right. So he's gonna find it. And so then he uploads it because, he's been the one telling the truth all along. And she has these big bombshells to drop.
And there's one in her belly as well. So yeah.
Oh my God.
What?
She's pregnant with the Messiah, the next Messiah. This is like Dogma all over again.
This is what is it? What else did they have? They had in the graphic novels, they had Sabine have the special kid, right? That was the next Messiah as well for the.
And why does Erica have Mohinder's damn book? Can we get the book? Can we get Escalating Evolution, please?
Oh yeah, definitely. We'll talk. Maybe we'll tweet out Hero.
That should be the book.
Yes. Yeah. Well, she obviously wants to keep it under wraps, I guess, but she doesn't have a fancy vault like the founders did, so she just keeps it in the drawer.
No Pandora's box for her.
Yeah, just keeps it in the drawer with her. With her gun. So
Luke and Malina, I guess.
Yeah. So
Luke tries to kill himself, and I'm like, please be successful.
No, I like his little last voicemail I thought it was very a little bit not funny, but it's just that kind of sarky kind of thing. And then obviously, he's saved, and we've got the next kind of pairing, and you called them the new HRG and Claire. What did you mean by that?
Well, like, I feel like he's gonna quote unquote adopt Malina, take her under his wing, and protect her at all costs. And maybe Tommy comes under to this umbrella too. This is really where the red strings of fate start to kick in for me, which is like my favorite thing that Tim Kring does.
Yeah.
And so, he's like, oh, I tried to kill him, but now, so Melina probably is going to explain it's her destiny to save the world, and this is supposed to be her counterpart. Maybe a Adam and Eve kind of thing.
Maybe,
I
yeah.
don't know. But I feel like Luke and Melina might be the next HRG player.
And I like the fact that he doesn't, at this point, he's kind of lost, because obviously, he's been doing what he's been doing for like the past year, and he thought that that was kind of his way to deal with his grief of his son dying and try and keep his marriage together. And, and now he's got this. Now he's revealed that he's got powers. He's kind of lost, and he's kind of he doesn't really have a purpose. He before it was just killing and maiming and puking afterwards because he can't handle it. And now that that's gone, he doesn't really know what he has to do with his life, and that's why obviously they're doing the religion thing again, because inside the eclipse he talks about how he's looking for a sign from God, and when his powers first manifest, he asks God why is he doing this to him, and he's just looking for a sign, and Melina's obviously that sign. And yeah, I agree, it's Malina kind of is giving him like something to strive towards, especially he's done all these bad things, and what else kind of way to atone for those sins than saving the world.
The candy, I will say that the candy machine was cute, and I'm so jealous. I wish I had that.
I was really surprised it wasn't like an Apollo bar, because they like their little... I was like,
I don't think they make those over here.
I know. No, yeah, or whatever. Yeah, I really was like half expecting there, because there was a lot of Easter eggs in this episode, and a lot of them weren't to do with like heroes. A lot of them were like to do with other things, which I quite enjoyed as well. And then I went on the heroes. We'll talk about the Easter eggs later, but yeah. I guess we'll move on to Miko and Ren to a point, I guess.
Whoa.
Oh.
We got to back up.
Okay.
Because it's like Noah, Quentin, and Taylor are torturing Harris. And so we start off with not one, but two scenes of torture in this episode, right?
Yeah, and they're back to back. So, when one punch happens, you can cut seamlessly to another one.
Exactly. So yeah, let's start there. And then it's like Miko and Ren are on a new game level. And then she learns like her complete destiny. Well, not actually even her complete destiny just yet. But yeah, so that happens.
Yeah, so they're doing the computer game. She ends up seeing who she thought was her father, but it isn't actually her father. He says that he's a creation which will lead her to her destiny. And at the same time, for some, I don't know how it happens. Like obviously, it's very it's not plot holy, but you just have to suspend your disbelief with some of the stuff that happens in Heroes. And obviously Richard, I think that's his name, the guy who gets shot in the foot, is watching the game, and he's like, well, what we can do is we can hide the eternal fortress where the Master of Time and Space is, and we can give her a new character to kind of defeat, or to kind of protect their investment, I guess, for lack of a better word. And it ends up with them realizing that that they can go to certain places, and
because each place has a real life location or whatever. I think that's a little cheesy.
I liked
but
it.
Whatever.
I thought it gives them
convenient plot point. Is convenient.
All of a sudden, her mission changes from not to find her father anymore. Her father's kind of out of the picture, and she is basically having to save the Master of Time and Space for her father. And it kind of gives us, obviously everyone knows as soon as he says the Master of Time and Space who it is, and I'm glad that they paid it off, and it wasn't like just Hachiro coming back to life or whatnot. And do you reckon Hachiro's over at Sunstone Manor?
I think he did.
And basically Hiro's fate lies with Miko, and they end up making their way to Renautas research, and entering through there.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Noah and Quentin are on their way because they tortured it out of Harris. And they have him as well. So, I don't know, man. This was kind of a weird roundabout way to get the convergence. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And once again, like kind of Carlos and Deering, instead of, walking in with their prisoner, they have to kind of set him free. So yeah, he takes out the nose shunt and
The new
they
and improved nose shunt, by the way.
walk into the into Renautas research, and yeah, that's where they all converge. Well, no, not before Miko has killed the kind of first guard with help from Ren, but then obviously they need to have it be Miko being like doing this job on her own. So his battery dies conveniently, but it's a good way to make it, only her kind of destiny and not have like Ren there in the background kind of helping her out.
So, like, let's just talk about it. So, Miko is just a computer sprite, and she has to sacrifice herself, and she does. And Ren's like, I love you. And I'm like, dude, it's been 3 days.
But then I don't know, because also it's like that kind of, he's known about her though, because obviously he's got the manual of Forever Now and he knows about Katana Girl, and it's, I don't think he's saying I love you in the fact that he physically loves her. I think it's like that kind of, that platonic kind of, you helped me out when I really needed you, and he's had this vision of this girl for all this time, and he's got to hang out with like this person who he's only known in like a computer game, or at least in a manual, and he's got to know her, and he's got to be like a really good sidekick to her. And I think it gave him a purpose. It gave him something to do in real life, as opposed to the kind of social media kind of,
The PewDiePie.
yeah, exactly. He's got that kind. He's got someone who's physically there to kind of talk to, and not just the back of a computer screen. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't think it's love that. I don't think it's like
I hope
romantic
so.
love that he's talking about.
Because,
I think it's
he
strictly
is
platonic love, and
Japanese,
I
and,
kind of
they
like
have
that.
those weird fetishes, and I felt that was a little bit, off kilter for me. So I like your theory better. But we know,
Okay.
oh, you did you tweet that
Yes, I do.
about the Indian music? Because I was totally thinking it, and then I saw that you tweeted it. I was like, yep.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I loved it. I know that was a nice little Easter egg to what was it, Hero turning up in
Yep.
Times Square and running away from with the comic from season one when the Indian music is playing. Yeah. So let's kind of discuss what you think is what Miko was, because what I got from it was Renautas had commissioned, or they had asked Hachiro to make this computer game to kind of house Hiro, which I kind of like the idea of. And he in turn did that, but he needed to create a character to kind of play the game for. And that's what Miko was. Miko was the manifestation of his daughter grown up, and it was her mission to kind of quote unquote save Hiro. And that was something that could never be done. And obviously she started
Yeah.
to gain sentience. Yeah. Yeah, and that's why, that's when she started to appear, and the reason why she could come in and out of the game was because of the sword, because the sword was literally the key to unlocking Hiro from his prison, so to speak. What did you get from the kind of, Evernow kind of thing?
Yeah, I thought that, thank God, it actually had a real payoff, and that it wasn't actually a side mission. Like, it actually has to do with them saving the world and how Erica was going to do it. It was a little convoluted to get there, but okay. But, I love the Miko and Ren pairing, and it's a shame that it had to come to an end the way that it did. I thought it would be like Pinocchio. Okay, you did what you're supposed to do. Now you get to be a real girl.
You're a real girl.
Right? That
Yeah.
was the shocking thing of it all for me.
I don't know. I think I think when I was watching it and I found out that she was just a computer game sprite, and she had to sacrifice herself, I knew, because obviously this is a limited event series. I knew that she was done for. Whether or not she comes back in like any of the later episodes, because they could flash back to her just sitting in the apartment from a year ago. Let's get on to the other.
Oh, right. Noah, Quentin, and Phoebe comes in. And I really find it odd that, Like, I've always said that her powers are like control the darkness. It would make sense that it makes like a pseudo eclipse and it dampens their powers. But now that it's like actually out there in the open, I actually hate it.
Okay.
I don't know. It just
It's always better. It's always the grass is always greener, isn't it? It's like, yeah, I really like this idea, but when they do it, and it's just like, oh no, it will be like me saying, I've been listening back to some of the old episodes, and me saying that, Luke Collins is actually Sylar in disguise. I It's something that you say, and then if it comes into fruition, you're just like, oh no. But thank God that's not the case. But yeah, I think also something to bring up, which I called, was they are sending things into the future, and they harnessed Hiro's power, kept him in the Eternal Fortress, and they were using his power to send stuff into the future to kind of redevelop the world after the solar flare. So yes,
I kind of called something too about why they probably want Malina dead is because she can actually her power. They want to harvest her power and totally kill her so that because she can basically regrow stuff. She can regrow the earth.
Yes. Oh yeah.
So she's in direct competition with Erica for being world savior.
Or maybe they just want to harness her power to regrow everything.
With all those lovely seeds.
The seed boxes, yeah, you just plant them in the ground.
Isn't it interesting though that it's actually Hiro's power and not Tommy's power?
Yeah, I quite enjoyed that because also like a lot of people were talking about the sound effects of the teleportation, and people were saying that it sounded like Tommy's power, but I didn't get that at all because Tommy's power is, the only way I can describe it is a thwip. So it's like thwip, and then it disappears. Whereas
it also has that weird Aurora Borealis aura to it too, as well. And that didn't happen there. So
let's get onto it. Let's get onto the tears that were shed with. Oh, what else did I call? I called the hug that saved the world. Because he ran to his sister, gave her a hug, and fell to the ground, and she killed him. Oh no. Quentin.
Yeah, why would they do that to us? I mean, obviously they're going back in time, but okay, this pissed me off. So Hero's like, Noah is trying to have a conversation with Hiro, trying to get him back to his, to his side. He's like, Erica's not going to take you to her brave new world.
Yeah.
He's like, whatever the case is, you're not going to make it either. Bang. And then bullet time, and we see Hiro pull the thing, and he's like, and Noah's like, you gotta take me back, and he's like, just promise me we won't step on butterflies. It's impossible not to step on butterflies when you travel back in time unless you have like a bubble.
There are two things I wanted to bring up about Hiro returning. The first thing is that his power has evolved now. Like, he has got that future hero kind of power of being able to stop time and keep someone not from stopping time. Like, before he had to be touching them, and that's how they stopped. They could join him in the kind of paused world, right? And now he's kind of developed the fact that he can, he stopped Noah from joining the paused world. So yeah, his powers evolved. He's less happy-go-lucky. He's more kind of that future hero. But the other thing I wanted to bring up was how easily Hiro gave up on his we can't go back in time with one compelling argument from HRG. So yeah, because
honestly though, let's be real. If HRG asked us to do anything, we'd probably like, okay.
Yes. But yeah,
we end the episode with 1 year ago, June 13th,
saying it's good to be back and asking HRG if he has a plan, and he says, yes, I do. So he's back.
The man with the plan is back. Oh, and shout out, because they had Hiro with the ponytail and the no glasses and the total future Hiro look, and I was like, yay.
And everyone was like going, he's got an awful mullet. He's got an awful mullet. It's not a mullet. It's just the remnants of the ponytail, not put into ponytail. So yeah, I really enjoyed seeing Hiro again, and even the trailer after, like when Hiro came back and started talking, I was literally screaming like, oh my god, at everything that happened. And in the trailer that happened afterwards, there was one thing which we will talk about where I literally, it was late here and I screamed, oh my god, in like the highest pitch voice I could, and I tweeted at you, or I Facebooked you afterwards saying it. But yeah.
Yeah.
The episode was great. I loved it. There were great parts, but yeah, let's get on to
the review then. Who was your favorite character? Duh.
For the sheer fact that he was in it for longer, I'm gonna go with Quentin because he got his kind of, what his arc was, finding his sister. He found his sister and he did what he had to do to kind of save the world. And even when he had the chance to kind of kill her, he didn't because he believed in her. Basically, he was one step away from standing far from her with a banner with yellow crayon. He was Xander in this episode, wasn't he? So yeah, and then he died, and
Did you just make the Buffy Yellow Crayon reference? First of all, how dare you? And second of all, awesome.
but yeah, it had to be Quentin. How about you?
For me, it was Emily.
Mm.
She's growing on me. I like that she's basically Tommy's conscience. I'm not really cool on the love interest thing, but I know it has to happen.
Yeah.
I don't know. She just really tickled my fancy this episode.
Do you still have suspicions about her?
Oh, definitely. Casper sent her, no doubt in my mind.
Maybe. And also, there are some theories I want to bring up, but we'll get onto that later. How about your favorite interaction?
Phoebe and Quentin. Hashtag poor Frady cats.
Yeah, I think that scene has a lot more context if you've watched Dark Matters.
Dark Matters.
Like, I think a lot of people were like, who is this girl? Oh, it's his sister. And a lot of people were quite shocked by that. But I think that it would have had more of an impact if maybe they had shown Dark Matters as an episode before, or like put it on like the NBC channel. I know it's on the YouTube and it's on the app, but only hardcore Heroes fans are kind of going for that. I don't think anyone who hasn't watched the show is going out and trying to find all these things previous. So yeah, my interaction is going to be Miko and Ren because I have a soft spot for them. I think they were a great power couple, so to speak. And yeah, I really felt sorry for both of them because obviously Miko knows she's got this kind of destiny and she fulfills it, but at the same time she knows she has to give up her kind of friendship with Ren about it. How about scene?
I like when Taylor puts her mom on blast, and then we cut to Erica mad as hell, and she like throws her little tablet, she throws a little hissy fit.
Yeah. Oh, it's obvious what mine is. It's the return, or anything with Hiro's return was great. I think he's definitely a lot more badass, and he's not the Hiro that we remember. And I think that's something that has to be brought up because a lot of people were clamoring for Hiro to come back, and this isn't the Hiro that Tim's Kring wife told him we needed. This is a much different.
It's the one
Hiro.
we need.
Yes, exactly.
It's the future Hiro we've been waiting for.
So yeah, I'm gonna go with him. You got any more scenes?
I guess mine I'm going to talk about my favorite moment. It's like, I've already kind of talked about it. It's after Dirty Deering gives Carlos the blood, and you see Carlos kind of just going out. You just see Deering just smiling, just so smart. It's the best thing ever.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to leave it at that. How about...
He's like, damn you, Lilith, and your sick, perverted mind.
What do you have for lines?
Let's see. Oh, what was Quint? Are you a who was it? Are you a LARPer? Definitely not a LARPer.
I have 3 lines. All of them connect. There are, I won't let you down, buddy. Don't call me buddy. And then, did I do it? Did I save her? You did good, buddy. You did good. And finally, she killed my friend. Oh man, just HRG, and the HRG and the HRQ has killed it. And it is, we called that he would probably, like, when he found his sister, he probably wouldn't be around for much longer. And we also called how good the HRQ was going to be. And I feel satisfied with his story arc, even though he's dead. And it hurts me deep inside my chest. I am happy with his story arc for the show.
Oh, I do have one more Noah line.
Yep.
It's, if he leads us into a trap, I'm going to blow his head off. No clones when that happens.
So yeah, I guess all that's left is the old grade, yeah.
The old rating system,
yeah.
I'm gonna be nice, and I'm gonna give it a B as in boy minus.
How come?
I liked this episode, but I feel like for this to be a 13 miniseries event, that it's taken us too long to get to the point.
Hmm.
Um, I felt like the whole Quentin and Phoebe thing, it was so telegraphed. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And it was just like, okay, we get this one blurb from Phoebe, and like that's enough motivation to kill your brother. Okay. And the whole Miko thing, like, okay, you're a woman, you've done your job, now you die. No reward for you.
I still think
And
we're going to pay off that Phoebe thing is going to pay off still. I think, obviously I think there's something more going on that we have to find out about, and I think we're going to find that out in the next episode. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that up. But yeah, I'm sorry.
I know, but for right now, until
Yeah.
that happens, that's how I feel. So yeah, that's
I'm
pretty. But like I said, it was a good, solid episode. Great dialogue, great character interactions. I love Taylor being pregnant, putting her mom on blast
yeah.
because of that. So
I'm gonna go with an A minus. I make no bones about it. Hiro coming back was what I was waiting for, and it kind of didn't disappoint, only slightly. But I like obviously when I knew the episode was coming, I knew he was only going to be in it for like the last 5 to 10 minutes. I was under no illusions that he wasn't going to be in half of it. But I think it kind of the previous 5 episodes, this is kind of paying off a lot of stuff, and that's what I think Heroes has always been about. It's been about the kind of slow burn, to no pun
really,
intended. I do, yeah. Well, at least the
I don't
first.
think Hero's ever been about the slow burn, except for when it had to be in the second half of season 1 when they doubled the order
I
out of
think
nowhere.
I think the first season was pretty slow to begin with. Yeah, I don't think it happened in the rest of them. The rest of them, they were like, we need better ratings. But yeah, I think it has, and I think this is what I've been waiting for. So yeah, A minus. What?
All right, burning questions, Easter eggs, world building.
So we've got.
What do you have first?
I got world building. We've obviously I've talked about the 10K for people with powers, Sunstone Manor, which is I've put in brackets a prison. You've got the updated No Shunt, the Eternal Fortress. Evernow has real world counterparts. I liked the little Malina scanning the area before she used her powers, because obviously the world that they're in now. Hero Truther is still working without Micah, and the callback to the Antarctica and sending the tracker there. Easter eggs. We have 88 Hill Valley Road, which is obviously a reference to
Back to the Future.
And I found Back to the Future on Heroes Wiki, and there is a lot more references to Back to the Future than I actually first remembered. So yeah.
Yeah.
Renautas Research, which is obviously a callback to Primatech Research, the Escalating Evolution, Villain or Bilan. HRG knowing Japanese, which I think everyone pretty much forgot. The Ninth Wonders comic. Claire shout out, Isaac shout out. The Yatar, which I think they even put the Yatar in the subtitle, didn't they? They didn't say I did it was just Yatar, which I quite liked.
Yeah.
They bring up the title Brave New World again. Good to see you, old friend. As long as you don't step on any butterflies. Gateway, which is obviously a callback to Heroes Dark Matters, where they have that on the screen. Leroy Jenkins for the real world. Solid Snake with Ren hiding in in the crate, and Noah being the man with the plan again. So yes, yeah. I have theory crafting. So we've got. The first thing I noticed when they went back to the past, what's his name? HRG was wearing the blue suit that we see in the hospital. And then that got me to thinking, is the present HRG the reason why past HRG got his memory wiped? Like, did he call on the Haitian and say, you have to wipe, the next time you see me, wipe my memory, especially if I'm wearing a grey suit? Or maybe...
I don't know, because like I said, the book, it kind of fills you in that the Haitian and Claire were up to things. And the Haitian wouldn't let HRG in on it initially, like the day of June 13th. So I don't know.
Maybe HRG, present and past and HRG meet, and he has to have his memory wiped so that he doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Because obviously he has a plan now, but he doesn't know what the plan is. And obviously, are Tommy and Erica working together in the future, as we saw by that kind of Ninth Wonders comic?
Or maybe that's his real mom.
Mm. A lot of people are also going on about the baby. You know, in the last episode, they brought up, kill the baby kind of thing when they were talking about Malina. And I really hope that they haven't, like, used someone's power to grow her up in however long. I just hope that, it was just a misconception or whatnot. Or maybe Malina and Tommy are both their parents. And also, another theory is this one I didn't have in my notes, but is Tommy's dad at Sunset Manor. Ooh.
Definitely.
So yeah, the only questions I want to ask are: no one wants to leave. I've already talked about, no one wants to leave Sunset Manor. Is it mind control? Is that how they've been using Evos to work for them? And I think also something to bring up is: remember when Molly said, "Forget the past, save the future"? Was her sacrifice in vain? Because it blatantly was. Because Noah didn't forget about the past. He went back to the past. So yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, I mean that's typically how I expect it to end for Molly anyway. I mean,
Mm.
she's always been kind of this afterthought. So, it's unfortunate that they didn't course correct with that, but whatever. I'm not bitter, just a little.
Also, they've got a picture of Sunil tweeted out a picture from ADR where it's got his face and he's smiling and he says, I've obviously just seen someone. Who do you reckon it is?" So hopefully, we get the House of M at least partially back together for the next 2 episodes. So,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, good old Huggy Grundy's coming back, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he's going to be back in the next couple of episodes, maybe.
The flashback episode.
Yeah. I don't think he's going to be back in the flashback episodes. I think he might be in 10, which
Oh
is the one,
wow.
no, the one after, because obviously I think he goes back to the past. My theory is that he goes back to the past and he still doesn't get his memories back, so he has to call on Grunny to bring his memories back to the forefront. So yeah,
Cool beans.
I
Anything
guess
else?
we'll talk about the trailer.
Oh, you're gonna spoil me, but
Oh
okay.
no, it's fine. No, we won't talk about the trailer then. No, you've watched the trailer. Come on. No, just it's the little trailer that showed at the end of Heroes.
Oh,
Did you
right.
not watch that?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing
Okay.
else on the YouTube. It's literally just like 20 seconds of that. So,
Of
uh,
Angela showing up. What's up,
yes,
Mohinder?
I
Claire?
know.
I'm like,
That bit. Oh
bro.
my God, that bit. That was the bit that made me scream like a girl. I was like, what? But obviously, it's just Claire randomly calling her at us at on the day. It's not her still alive. I don't think that they save her. But yeah, I like the little callback. You save the cheerleader, I'll destroy the bomb, which kind of felt like, save the cheerleader, save the world. Um,
In Kirby
and
Plaza.
yep, and dramatic voice: to save the future, they have to change the past. So yeah,
We've called that though. You said you were gonna be disappointed.
I don't know. Now I'm
So are you eating crow now on that?
no, yeah, I'm really good. I'm really looking forward to it. I think the memory wipe's going to play a lot more of a bigger thing into it, and I'm really interested to see how and why.
Hey, is Jimmy Jean Louis supposed to be back or not?
I think he's
Because I
back,
thought they said he was gonna be in 3 episodes, and then he gets killed off in the first one. So I'm just like,
and also he tweeted out a picture of him and a couple of the new characters, or the couple like HRG and a couple of the new characters. So I think he's still in it because they've just kind of finished filming now. So yeah. Okay, we'll go back onto Inside the Eclipse once again. Go check these out. They're really quite good, and they're like no longer than like 5 or 10 minutes. So it's just a mixture of people talking about the characters. So it starts off with Ryan Guzman talking about Carlos becoming more of a detective, but also learning from Deering.
Batman.
Yeah, exactly. Keep your friend close, but your enemies closer. What's his name? Zach talks about Luke hitting rock bottom, and he's having that identity crisis. He was wrong in what he was doing, but how can he live with himself? And Malina now has hope because of Luke. Turn in Luke's story. Oh, sorry, that was really loud. One of the writers says this is a turning point in Luke's story, and it's him becoming a hero that he was meant to be. And um, Robbie talks about Tommy escaping. He sees Emily as clarity, and he needs her and her guidance. Henry Zabrowski was apparently warned that he was going to die, and he got kudos from the makeup slash props department because of the way that he used the blood and made it look awesome. Toru talks about how it's tough on Ren having to lose Miko, and love isn't just about being together. It's more, his love is more about, caring about someone. And Kiki talks about how she changed the accent for Dark Miko to kind of give them a bit of a difference. And she says that ultimately Miko sacrificed herself not because she knew it was the good thing to save Hiro. She sacrificed herself because of her father and to make her father proud. And I think it's one of the writers, or Tim, talks about, we're 6 episodes in. We know that everyone wants Hiro to come back, but we'll make you work for it. So that's why, it took a while to kind of get to that Hiro cameo.
Not the fact that they had to work out all the kinks with CBS. Okay, Tim or writer.
So, I guess all we have left is emails. So, we'll start off with a couple from the Twitters. The Great Lexini said, almost cried at the awesomeness. Save the world, Hiro. Save the world, Hiro. Definitely. Renautas Group said, looks like we have our work cut out for us. You damn right you do. Next up, we have T. Blessed Stanley. He said, you save the cheerleader, I'll stop the bomb. That's the plot of Heroes Season 1. It's an awesome one-liner. He's talking about the trailer that happened. We had a couple of tweets from Elekchna1. He said, if they somehow stop the bomb and save Claire, then the future is totally rewritten. Question mark. So what do you think about that? I think it is, right?
And that way our Frady cats get to have a happy ending. That's all I care about at this point.
They also say, awesome episode, clearly not afraid to kill people this go-round. Seems like Miko, Ren, and Quentin are all out of the picture. But if they stop the explosion, I bet Claire must still die. Because, obviously the solar thing is still coming in a year. So, cool reveal on where they teleported the seeds as well. Copy of Clara says, absolutely incredible episode tonight. Can't even put into words how much I loved it. Got chills and started tearing up when Hiro showed up. Loved Malina and Luke's scenes. Tommy and Emily in Paris was awesome. The promo for next week gave me chills also. I can't stop watching it. I agree with you, Copy of Clara. I agree. And Papas22 says, great episode. Interested to see what the quote-unquote plan is. Glad Hiro is back. I think everyone's going to be saying that for the next couple of episodes. KSB78 says, good episode. I finally see how the Katana Girls storyline fits with the arcs, and seeing Hiro was the best part, though not enough. I think we're going to get our fair share of Hiro in the next 2 episodes because we have a choice, because he's in 3 episodes. But what do you think? You said you loved the way that you're glad that they paid off the kind of Evernow. I think I'm really glad about that as well.
Definitely, because that was the most jarring thing about Heroes Reborn, and it was very divisive. And it's just this better not be just a 100% straight up side quest.
Next up, Danny_Von said, love seeing Hero, super stoked for next week, June 13th. Tweet KP 2011 says, Heroes Reborn, loving the season, watch every week.
Watch live, watch with the commercials, watch it on the app, watch it on NBC.com.
Yep, do all those things. You have a week to rewatch this all the time. Do it, because I want season 2. Next up, we have Morpheus XP, who sent us an email. He says, as always, another amazing episode of Heroes Reborn. This series is just as amazing as the original. These new characters are just as intriguing as the originals. I can't wait to see where they go from here. What do you think about that? Do you think it's as amazing as the original?
Well, no, because it's a completely different TV landscape, and it was so fresh and hard hitting and different. This huge ensemble cast, and it was in stark contrast to Lost, where you barely got one answer a season, and almost every other episode in season 1, you got an answer at least. Yeah, more questions and plot holes, but at least you got an answer to something really important, and they really developed the characters more because they had more time. Like, we're just meeting these characters, like we were talking about, I think, the other week, in the middle of their journey and
Yeah.
towards the end of the destination. So it's hard to be invested as much when you know this is just supposedly a one-off. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you feel that you're invested in any of the characters apart from obviously the HRG and the old characters and Quentin slash Phoebe because we know more about them?
I was gonna say Team Freddy Cow all the way.
Well, we know all about the Freddy.
And Miko
Yeah.
and Ren, but now that's
Mm.
done. So no.
Do you think? I think that they're going to start pushing Carlos more into the furore, and I, as much as Tommy's a bit of a brat, I'm kind of, he's the next kind of Peter, and I didn't call that, but he is the new Peter, so I did kind of call that the last week when I said the envelope was going to have a picture of Peter. Thumbs up.
I was like, close enough, Peter Jr.
But yeah, I'm still finding I think Malina and Tommy are obviously being pushed as the new things for this season, and I'm intrigued to find out more. I kind of have liked Tommy to begin with, and he's kind of falling out of favor with me just because of his kind of brattiness, and that's how I see his kind of behavior. I see both of their behavior kind of spoilt bratty, but then again, at the same time, they are teenagers, and at the same time, of huge destinies.
They're Luke and Leia. They're brother. Okay, no. They're the Luke and Leia. They're the brother and sister. They're the twins torn apart.
And they're Erica's
there we
kids. Go. Are they also Erica's kids? Okay, then.
Oh,
but
no,
you said
I don't think so.
Earlier, maybe. Anyway, just calling back to earlier.
Maybe. I don't know. Now it just seems kind of crazy.
If that happens, how you? No, I'm joking. Next up, we have another email from Film and TV Hub 32. It's a good one. It says, the story arc involving Miko Katana Girl. I really think calling her Katana Girl, this is me talking, by the way, calling her Katana Girl kind of took away from her actual name of Miko, because a lot of people on Twitter were calling her Katana Girl and didn't really know her name. I suppose that's kind of in my eyes, it's kind of showing her as, she's not a real person the whole time. And it was kind of like a foreshadow, but that's just me speculating and reading too much into it. Anyway, I pretty much saw where it was going from the beginning.
Hashtag misogyny.
I pretty much saw where it was going from the beginning, but it was awesome to see it play out the way I thought, with the real person being sent to save, with the real person she was sent to save Hiro Nakamura. Speaking of which, I'm glad the episode where Hiro comes back has finally come. He is the heart and soul of the original. So good to see him back is very gratifying. Really shocked and angry at Quentin's, after all Quentin searching for his sister, she kills him with her powers once he finally finds her. And I'm glad that Luke is finally finding purpose in helping Malina find teleporting Tommy. Speaking of which...
Hold on, wait. My boyfriend was watching with me when Phoebe killed Quentin. He was like, that looks so stupid. I gave him the dirtiest look, and I'm like, oh yeah, you're right.
What, she was pushing her shadow in down his
those
throat.
Darkness tentacles.
I wouldn't say that looks, stupid. It looks really, really, hashtag rapey. No joke. It's been a while since we've used that. Anyway, speaking of which, when Tommy teleported himself and Emily to Paris, it was cool for him to discover that, it was cool for them to discover one of the comics inspired by Isaac's paintings, implying that he has seen even this far ahead of the events of Heroes Reborn as well. All in all, this was a great payoff after weeks of setting foundations in previous episodes, as well as Reborn Dark Matters prequels. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being crap and 10 being incredible, I will give this a solid 8. I can't wait for the future episodes to develop these storylines further. Although, and this is a new one, although a mostly new cast exists, Heroes Reborn is really to start to feel like the old show, which is never a bad thing. Next up, we have Demetria Mills 3. She says, awesome episode again this week. Totally excited to see Heroes return. Yatta. Wondered for a second if he was Miko's dad or was just in the video game. I see that he's not. Love the Ren Miko team. Sad to lose Quentin. Everyone is sad to lose Quentin. So glad to see Malina save Luke. That was an awesome save. Wasn't sure how she was going to do it. Harris seems to be taken down more than I thought he would. HRG is still controlling things for the good. So many questions in mind. I see so much happening in future episodes. I think that's a good thing. That's only a good thing that people are theory crafting, because, that's what you kind of want. You want people to talk about your shows. You also want them to watch your shows, but at the same time, having people discuss it and like create a dialogue about it. I think that's only a good thing that a show can do.
Honestly, I just want to say that if you guys really should download the app and watch the app, or on the like actual web browser. If you are downloading the episodes, do that. Okay, sure, but at least watch it either on the app, or because that counts as a watch and it's another form of revenue for the show. And like a TV show has to be profitable. And I'll put it to you in perspective of another show that I watched called Beauty and the Beast. Now, that had a 0.3 in the demo on the CW. It was like the worst rated show on the CW, but it got renewed for 2 more seasons because the fans bought every single thing that had to do with Beauty and the Beast. We watched it on the app, clicked on the ads, we tweeted the advertisers every week. We were really vigilant about making sure that it was a profitable show. So I just want to throw that out.
Also, the app is free, so why not download it and watch Heroes?
You don't even have to watch it. Just leave it. Just leave your phone for an hour and come back.
Yeah. Same with the games. Get the games. I'm doing everything I can to support this show by getting the games, getting the comic books, getting like even the ash can I bought, which was the ash can's only like 10 pages, but I bought that, and that was more expensive than the comic itself. I've got the magazine, I've got everything. I'm going to get the ebooks on my iPhone/Kindle, but then I'll also buy the hard copy when it comes out. Support the show. That way we can get...
Wait, there's hard copies?
I believe they'll more than likely put a hard copy at the end of it, like a collection of them. I think I read that somewhere.
Oh, I was going to say, an individual one doesn't make sense, but a collection, I could see that.
So, and they're also going to have Saving Charlotte in it. No, I'm joking, they're not. Finally, we have at English Idiot 101. There was so much tension in this episode, especially with Noah and the party, including Miko. I'm so glad we finally got to see Hiro again, in brackets, yay, with an apostrophe. That is the line with the dot, right? Yeah. But I want to know what happened to Miko, and I don't want Quentin to be gone for the rest of the season. I'm hoping that we get a good next few episodes with Hiro, and going back to June 13th. Malina and Luke will make an interesting duo, but I'm undecided on whether Luke's now good. Tommy and Emily are great together. Can't wait to see what's in store for Tommy, and his part in the whole finale. I just really want to know what happens next. Really good episode, though.
Nice to hear your thoughts, Charlie.
Thank you all for sending in your feedback. So yes, I think that's it. I've got the magazine. I've just got to read it. It's been really busy, but I will have a breakdown for you guys next week, hopefully.
Looks like it's time for some shameless plugs and self-promotion. We'll start with the show contact info. We here at Primatech Files love listener feedback. If you would like to get a hold of us, we have a ton of ways. You can email us via primatechfiles@gmail.com. You can leave us a private message or interact with our posts over on facebook.com/primatechfiles. We live tweet 2 episodes per week every Saturday starting at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. For more information, be sure to follow us on Twitter at primatechfiles. You can also find us on Clamor, Tumblr, and YouTube by simply searching for Primatech Files. If you enjoy this podcast, be sure to rate, review, and subscribe to us on iTunes. What's that? You don't have an iTunes account? That's okay. We're on a lot of podcatcher services such as Stitcher and SoundCloud. All you have to do is search for, you guessed it, Primatech Files. We're also on Libsyn, and if you want to follow our RSS feed there, all you have to do is go to primatechfiles.libsyn.com and bookmark the site to stay up to date with this podcast. Libsyn is spelled Libsyn, just in case you were wondering. We look forward to interacting with you.
If you love our podcast, be sure to check out Southgate Media Group's iTunes provider page to see a list of what other podcasts are hot and trending in our network. Or you can take that one step further and visit southgatemediagroup.com, where you can find a full list of our 80-plus podcasts, along with weekly blogs and information about all the hosts. With so many podcasts that cover everything from anime to wrestling, there's sure to be tons of podcasts that could interest you.
Hey guys, you should know by now that you can find me on Twitter at Lilith Hellfire. If you have a Tumblr, be sure to check out it's lilithhellfire.tumblr.com. And of course, be sure to swing by my blog if you are a pop culture junkie or comic book geek at littlepopculturevulture.blogspot.com. I also host several other podcasts on the Southgate Media Group network. Some of them are The Flashpoint, Queen Consolidated, and Channel 52. So if you are into, obviously, DC comic book related stuff, be sure to check it out.
You can find my writings at tvbinges.com. It's a place for all your binge watching needs, and you can also create your own TV binge and we'll help promote it. We do a monthly binge watch, which you're more than welcome to join in. Just go to their Twitter at tvbinges just to find out more information. You can find me on Twitter at RickyJDiaz. That's RickyJDiaz or Z if you're American.
Now we are going to wrap it up. We want to thank you for joining us on our discussion of episode 106, Game Over, of Heroes Reborn. We hope you found it entertaining and informative, and notice the length of this podcast. We are very enthusiastic and devoted to breaking down the episode.
Keep the rebellion alive.